My uncle tells me that my father passed away. Y'all, I froze up. I froze. The next thing, the next thing I can hear my mom calling my name on the phone because I guess she thought I had like a heart attack or something. I hear my mom calling my name on the phone, and then Ruth, like, comes to my aid and is like, "Oh, she's here." She's like, "I'm here, I'm here, I'm here," and she just starts embracing me, and I'm just distraught, y'all. Never in a million years did I think my dad would die at the age he died. He was 62, and it was just like, man, what's man. It's hard talking about it right now, even though it happened 4 years ago, because to be honest, y'all, I don't revisit this time in my life. Like, I don't, honestly, y'all, I really try not to revisit 2021. But because I have to tell this story, I have to take my mind back to that time space. Um, so yeah, Ruth, she embraces me. She's like, "Oh, she's here." I'm like, "Hey, mom, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here." She's like, "Okay." My uncle's like, "Hey, don't go out. Stay indoors." They tell Ruth like, "Hey, Ruth, stay with her. Like, make sure she's okay." To like, yeah. She's like, "Yes, I'll stay with her. Like, everything's gonna be okay. Like, just I know it's hard to process, but just make sure you just get yourself occupied with like things that are positive and stuff like that." So I was like, "Okay, okay." So we ended the call. I'm not sure if I ended it by telling them bye, or my uncle ends it. Whatever. We end the call. And then Ruth is like, "Adrian, I'm sorry." She's like, "Adrian, I am so sorry." She said she found out this morning. She's like, "Adrian, I found out early this morning. Your mom called me around 5 a.m. I didn't pick up. I was sleeping. 7 o'clock, I woke up. I saw your mom's missed call. I called her back. She shared the news with me, and she told me that she did not want me to be by myself when I found out about my dad's passing. So she told her, like, "Hey, could you please go to her apartment and we're going to break the news to her there. I don't want her to be by herself." So that was the reason why she texted me at 9 o'clock in the morning to come over to my apartment. Oh man, y'all, that was a lot. Like, I felt like my whole entire world had shattered. I I just felt I couldn't even feel, to be honest. I couldn't feel. I was just like, "What? My father died?" And also now I'm thinking, how did he die? How did he die? So I get a call from my uncle directly from his phone number. He calls me like 20 minutes later, and he's like, "Hey, like, I hope like, just make sure that, you just stay positive. I don't want you driving. Like, don't go out. Please don't drive." And I said, "Uncle, what happened?" Because in my head, I'm thinking he died in his sleep. That's what I'm thinking. So I said, "Uncle, what happened?" He was like, "Don't worry about it." I said, "No, Uncle, what happened?" He said that he was stabbed in the back. So that was when I found out that my father was unalived by someone. Fortunately, y'all, fortunately, they were able to find the person. The person who did it was someone that rented the space that was below him. My dad had an office space in a area in New Jersey. The person who was renting the space below him, they got into an argument and the person stabbed my dad. And that was how my dad died. And they were able to find the person. They went into the person's space. They saw blood, they saw like weapons and all that stuff, and an arrest was made. So now I am just like shaken up. Like, man, my father was unalived by someone else. Oh man, this is a lot. This is a lot. Um, so yeah, I spoke to my uncle. I got a call, got a phone call from my play cousins. And I'm gonna talk about them later on in the story too. There's two of them. Play cousin Mary, play cousin Carrie. Two of them show up later on in the story too. I get a call from them. They're checking up on me. They're like, "Hey, I've been through the house. We've just been back and forth. Like, Adriel, I just hope you're good." I get text messages from other family friends and people I grew up with. Um, I'm just like shattered, y'all. I'm shattered. Ruth is in the apartment with me, consoling me, and my mind is just racing. Like, how could this happen to me? How can this happen to my family? How? And then I thought about God. I'm like, oh my goodness, like God, you knew this was gonna happen. I had no idea that I was gonna start 2021 with the passing of my father. And I thought about the fast. I'm like, Lord, we just fasted at the end of December to have a prosperous 2021. My father dies. Like, how? And I'm just like thinking, why is this happening to me? I'm in the wilderness, unemployed, and then I hear news that my father passed away. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. Ruth was with me up until like 10 o'clock at night. She went to her apartment and I was by myself. I was by myself in the apartment. I remember I was watching a football game that ended like around 11, and I was so afraid, y'all. I was so afraid to go to bed. I was like, I felt haunted to go to bed. Oh my goodness. I felt haunted to go to bed. Anyways, throughout that night, throughout that day, y'all, like I'm talking to my fam, I'm talking to my brothers, I'm talking to my mom, I'm talking to people. But it's like just the thought of me going into my bed by myself and knowing that my father's no longer here, it just haunted me. So eventually I was like, yo, I need to go to bed. I go into my bed and y'all, I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep at all. I remember hearing someone one time on the internet of them sleeping in a hotel and they had issues sleeping and they put a Bible on their chest and they were able to sleep. So I put my Bible on my chest. Y'all, I couldn't. I couldn't sleep. I probably didn't go to sleep on. I probably got like 2 hours of sleep. Oh, probably an hour or 2 hours of sleep. But that was probably like from 5 to like 7 or like from 6 to 8. I remember waking up early and just like, yo, I can't be by myself. I can't. I can't. This like whatever I'm feeling inside, like with my father's passing, I just need to get it out. I need to be around people. So I remember initially I had plans of not telling anyone until I got back home for my dad's funeral. At this time, we didn't even know there was no arrangements made, nothing of that sort. Um, but I remember just calling people that I knew. I told Esther, and she like screamed on the phone, and she was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, Adriel, I am coming over like later on today. Like, I am so sorry that that happened to you. I am so, so sorry. Um, I remember reaching out to LA friend. Well, LA friend, she's 3 hours behind. So when I was calling her, I guess that's when she was asleep. But I was calling her, she didn't pick up. Um, I remember calling her brother. He ended up picking up and he's like, I'm gonna let her know that you called. Eventually, I call her, she calls. I tell her what happened, and she's just like distraught. I can tell she felt for me. That was my friend. She felt for me. And then she's like, "Hey, Adriel, I am telling everyone that we know because we had a lot of mutual friends. I'm like, I am telling everyone that that we know about your father's passing because at the same time too, I was out of Instagram. I was no longer on Instagram. So she's like, I'm telling everyone that we know. She's like, also, I'm gonna tell Crystal. And I was like, she was like, Adriel, I know you and Crystal are not, friends anymore, but Adriel, you are by yourself in Atlanta. You need support. You need to be around people. And I'm very sure, like, if I tell Crystal, she's not gonna, you know, hold grudges. Like, she would actually care about knowing what happened to your father. So I said, okay, if you want to tell Crystal, that's fine. Um, I tell Ruby, and actually, Ruby had just came back to Atlanta. She was out of the country. So she was like, "What?" She was like, "Adriel, I just pulled up. Let me call you back." So she calls me back, and we're talking. And she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come through." She didn't come through that day. She came the next day. Um, Later on that day, um, Esther came by. Esther came by, and she was like, Adrian, I am so sorry. She's like, I'm so sorry for what happened to you. And then, and honestly, to be honest, y'all, having Esther around to confide in was kind of therapeutic to me because Esther had lost her father when she was a teenager. So she kind of knew what it was like to not have a father around. So I remember asking her, like, man, when it happened to you, like, what were you going through? Because right now I'm like, I'm not even hungry, y'all. I didn't even eat. I didn't even finish my chips, y'all. My appetite was gone. That Monday when Esther came, she came like around like 4 or 5. I didn't have any meals, y'all. My appetite was gone. I was like, so I'm like, this is the first time, y'all. This was the first time I was dealing with someone who passed away, someone like really close to me like that, who passed away and they passed away like that. Everyone else that I knew that passed away, it was like through a sickness or something. This was out of the blue. So I remember asking her, like, hey, when your father died, like, how did you process that? And she told me, like, hey, at her father's funeral, she passed out. She passed out. They had to carry her, and and she had just started the school year, so they had to get her out of school. I think she was like in boarding school. They had to get her out of school, attend the funeral, and she was a mess. So she was like, Adria, I understand how you feel. Like, and I'm like, wow. Now, mind you, when her father died, she was 14. Yeah, I was 27 at this time. And I'm just like, I can't imagine losing my father at 14 or 15 or at a young age. Because at 27, I felt like I feel like I still needed my dad. I feel like I still needed my dad, y'all. And just the thought of, man, my dad was never gonna walk me down the aisle. My dad was never gonna meet Brandon. My dad was never gonna meet my future kids that will be his grandkids. It's like, yeah, I still needed my dad.